birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new life for me, yeah. And I'm feeling good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of ALR. And this time we're on season 9 then. We're just one away from the magical season 10, Alex. And I must say, that's a personal milestone for me because I reckon it's pretty cool to reach 10 years old. But anyway, more importantly, Alex, how are you doing? You looking forward to this season?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's going to be very exciting this season. Looking forward to season 9 on F123. It's going to be, I think, one of our best seasons, fingers crossed. So, looking forward to how it all pans out.
And to be honest, that is quite a big shoes to fill kind of thing because I did think that season 8 was cracking. We did the game itself was probably not the most well, wasn't the best in the world, was it? But I think the action on track for ALR was fantastic. We had two championships go very close to the wire, almost onto the wire there, but of course the two challengers unfortunately misstepped in. I think it was a Chinese Grand Prix in the end, wasn't it? And of course we had two champions who were absolutely dominating. It was incredible to see. But Alex, because it's a new game, then what are you feeling or what are you thinking about this? Then, of course, tell me a bit about the technical side.
Oh, I'm not sure much about the technical side, but I do know that the handling is a lot much better, or a lot better than the previous game. So I think a lot of people are much more happier with how the cars are feeling on the track. I myself definitely am. So looking forward to seeing how everyone everyone sort of takes to the track and see how they all perform.
Exactly, and I actually concur, Alex, because the reverse gear is very good on this game. I found out quite a lot, because of the fact I've always been in the gravel. But yes, it's definitely an improvement, and I'm also looking forward to seeing some familiar faces, and of course a couple of new drivers then, which is also coming through the ranks as well. We have 4 driver draws tonight, and we have the 100% draw as well, which of course rewards all the drivers that did not miss a single race in their leagues last season, which is absolutely fantastic there. So that'll be a big old hoo-ha in a minute then, where we're just going to celebrate those drivers there, which is fantastic. Also, then you're wondering, 4 draws? We only had 3 last year, didn't we? We have gold, silver, bronze, and not 100% this year, but we do have Formula 2 then. Alex said Formula 2. I love Formula 2. I've got to say, I think I was the only one that used to like Formula 2, but it seems to be getting a bit higher on your radar of enjoying it.
Yeah, I didn't used to like it either, to be honest. But after a few attempts, it wasn't too bad. No, I really enjoy the F2 cars actually on this game. It's obviously they feel a lot better with the handling as well. So it has sort of upgraded the F2 side of things from my personal point of view. So looking forward to seeing the F2 League, of course, take to the track too. Of course, the first time for ALR in F2 at all. So yeah, this is a pretty exciting season for them. And of course, looking forward to seeing the bronze, silver, and gold drivers there also put on their racing gloves and get going as well.
I cannot wait for that then. And of course, enough about us, Alex. Enough about us talking in my beautiful island with my Indiana Jones hat. And enough with your expert podcast, Mike. Let's get going, shall we? We're all about the quorum in here. Let's get going then for the start of ALR driver draw. No, before we do that, it's the 100% now. See you in a minute. So this is the 100% attendance draw then as we spin the wheel then. Congratulations to all these drivers that turned up there for 100% magnificent stuff. First driver off the wheel then, the man who's never missed any ALR race in his entire career. It is Serious Mushroom. I'm going to be honest, that is fantastic, isn't it? He deserves that applaud then. He gets that £20 PlayStation gift voucher to spend it on a new helmet. I love it. Second driver is Reflections there, another driver who did not miss a single race this season. Magnificent. And now then, this is where we get down to the serious business. I think that this is my favourite part of the season, Alex. I think I like this more than the more than the draw itself, to be honest. Sorry, more than the races itself, to be honest, which is probably something I should not say, definitely. But you can see that there are 60, nope, 80 drivers then that are going to be taking part in this draw tonight. We have got 80 times we've got to spin these wheels, and plus the teams as well. Goodness gracious me, Alex. I'm going to be very dozy by the end of this one. I'm not sure how you're feeling then. Up first then is the Formula 2 then. We have gone with the logos then, even though I can't see what that yellow one is. I think that's a Virtuoso, I think it is, or something like that. Prima, the first team out of the off the wheel. Alex, what are you feeling then about F2 then? Of course, you was a man who wasn't a big fan of Formula 2, but lately, or recently, you've really started to get into it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how Formula 2 sort of takes part really in ALR, that is, because it's the first time ever we've got the ALR drivers taking part in the F2 division. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how it's going to be. And Kaidel looks like he's first off the wheel.
He is, and Kaidal finished second in the 100% run in the 100% league last year, didn't he? Really did a good job. Kaidal did. I think that he was absolutely splendid. It's just a shame that Immortal was just absolutely immortal that season, wasn't it? But of course, this is F2. This is slightly different. And Bannister, another driver who's a part of the 100%, then will be driving this time for the Prima team in Formula 2. Prima do have quite an excellent pedigree in the old Formula 2 world, so that is that's a very decent lineup, I would say. Then, but of course, I can't really judge these drivers, Alex, because I've never seen them in Formula 2 machinery, because it's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more different. Of course, all the cars are a stock car as well. It's all the same for whichever team. So I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very entertaining indeed. And I think there's going to be some drivers there that might be more suited to F2 than they are in normal Formula One cars. So we might see some drivers there who are competing a bit further up the order than they usually are, or some drivers there doing the opposite and going a bit further down. So yeah, it should spice up the order a bit, I think, in this division.
And 3 off the board, and 3 drivers who wasn't part of the 100%. So, yeah, to be honest, I'm not going to make any judgment. I promised in the intro that I would not make any any predictions, because we all know how well that goes, or not so well in my case. Then, and Martin, and a driver who joined up halfway through the 100% last season. I'm really looking forward to this, to be honest. Of course, that was the Dams team as well, another team of excellent pedigree in Formula 2. I do love Formula 2. I'm really excited about this as well, Formula 2, and I think I'm so excited because fact is, then you don't really know what is going to be, what's going to come out of F2, do you? This is PHM then, which used to be known as the Charus team, I think it is. Is it Charus? No, Charus, isn't it? No, Charus. Charus? Alex, correct me.
I don't know.
What am I doing?
I'll just go with PHM. Sounds good. So that'll do.
And well, first, and we got Hassal, who is a part of the Charus team. We'll go with that. Hassal, we've seen him drive in Formula 1 machinery before, so I'm very interested to see how he does in Formula 2 machinery. Of course, Formula 2, as Alex said, that it's very much a spec series, and because all the cars are the same with the same Mecha Chrome engines as well. I think that V6 Mecha Chrome as well. So we got Chewy also making a return to Wednesday nights as well. Then. So it'll be Hassal and Chewy, Alex, and for the Charus team.
Yeah, good stuff indeed. I think it'll be looking to see how they both fare. Of course, Chewy there with a good performance there in the 100% league, and of course Hassal joining us there for the F2 division as well. So a new pairing there in the PHM / Charus team, I suppose you could say.
Next is the Campos team, then. I'm quite new to Formula 2. It's usually on the background for me, so yeah, whilst I'm mucking about with something else. But we got a man who, well, he's already been on one wheel, hasn't he? And he's now on another. Serious Mushroom, I'm going to say, he's going to be appearing in a lot of these wheels tonight, isn't he? Goodness gracious me. But Serious Mushroom will be joined for the Campos team then. I think it's Adrian Campos, isn't it? Who's the man who leads Campos, who has brought a lot of young drivers up through the ranks and into Formula 1. Then Serious Mushroom is not a young driver, but he is he is definitely experienced, isn't it? And Kiki, who of course is a part of the Bronze Championship, is also going to be a part of Formula 2 as well. And so we got 2 drivers then who are representing Bronze, and who's driving for Bronze will also be driving in Formula 2 as well for the Campos team. Up next is the MP Motorsport team. Then, of course, a famous Dutch team then on the grid in Formula 2, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. But actually, before we go on to MP, Alex, and we're talking about that team then of Serious Mushroom and Kiki.
Yeah, very good, quick team, a very consistent team as well. So looking forward to seeing how they fare.
And Reflections then, who, well, Gunsmith Reflections and Serious Mushroom are going to be on here just as much. They, of course, they're the 2 winners of the 100% attendance award and get that beautiful £20 voucher then, which is fantastic, isn't it? Reflections then, who just came off the board then, and for the MP Motorsport team, I almost forgot which team it was. And my goodness me, I'm already breaking my rule, Alex. Siege. I think I seen Siege race in Formula 2 a couple of seasons ago when we was a part of HD. the HDE setup then, and he was pretty in fine style. He didn't win the championship that season, but he did start off so well then. But that's a pretty decent team in MP's Motorsport, I would say.
Yeah, you've just already contradicted yourself there by giving yourself a title contender off straight off the bat. I will say Siege is very good in Formula 2 cars. I will agree with you there, but I'm not going to say he's going to be a title contender because I don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see him up there for sure. So good stuff indeed.
I always fall on my sword, so why not start as I mean to go on then? Trident's next up on the next off the wheel. Then we got Vintage. Then Vintage is also another driver. And he wasn't part of the 100% award, was he? I don't think then, but he was racing quite often towards the end last season as well. And Vintage, a point score machine, I normally say in the in Formula One terms. So let's see how that one goes well. And Lucifer will be his teammate for Trident. Unfortunately, I don't have the last memory I have of Lucifer, Alex, was when he caused that safety car in Portugal. So that's not a very good memory there. But what do you think about that team now? I think it's solid.
Yeah, Vintage, of course, is one of the consistent drivers that we've had from last season as well. Lucifer, of course, joining for the new season. So looking forward to seeing what they can both do there in the F2 division.
ART is next off the board. Then I'm sure that Lewis Hamilton drove for ART, didn't he, back in the day? When it was GP2, I think it was. So another team with great pedigree, isn't it? And who's going to be first off the board? It is Luke. Luke was a super sub for some of the bronze championship last season. I think he won a race as well, if I'm not very much mistaken. I am over 30 these days, though, so my memory is kind of like a goldfish. So it's always been a goldfish, really, hasn't it? But I'm certainly struggling with the old memory these days. But Luke is off the board then, and he'll be driving for ART, which I think that'll be very good indeed. And we got a new driver here, Alex. I certainly don't recognise his name unless he's changed it. Or he or she, I should say, has changed it. Then Tech Racing. What do you make of that?
No, I think another new driver. I've not had any experience of seeing Tech Racing on track, so we'll have to hope that he can put in a good performance there for himself and for the team, of course, in the new F2 season.
Another team coming off the board then, which I'm going to struggle with the name all the way through the season. I think it's Virtuosi then. I think I've got that. Virtuosi, that would do. They used to be UNI, I think, or something like that. So they've really just changed it just to spite me, haven't they? But who's coming off the board first then? It is the Bronze World Champion. It is Jenner and golly gosh, Sir Alex. We'll talk about the driver lineup in a minute, of course. But Jenner is off the board there, and he's going right up there, I think, there for championship pretender. I am sure of it. As you can see, then, good job I don't make New Year's resolutions to myself, isn't there? Because I've broke that completely, and we're only in how many minutes into this video? 10 minutes. And KD is off the board as well. Two drivers, and Alex, that we do know very well.
Yeah, both competed, of course, in the 100% division, last season, and they both did very well indeed. And I think it helped their actual racing in the other divisions as well. So looking forward to seeing how they both fare together there in the Virtuosi team.
Haha, yes. Now we got Carling coming up the board next. I can say that one now. Of course, Trevor Carling, another famous name from the lower divisions. Then, of course, we got 4 drivers left on the board. Then, and I'm so happy when it's that. Then, and oh goodness gracious me, I've changed my pick again. I think then the Gold World Champion. Then, of course, Troy, who is going to be taking part full time on Wednesdays. And he was a super sub, wasn't he, for last season? And I think he won a race in Miami in very fine style, didn't he? But Troy, of course, the Gold World Champion as well, will be driving for Trevor Carling's team then. And his teammate is going to be another driver, which I'm very unfamiliar with, but Finn then, who's also come to the board as well. Another debutant, Alex, then. But talk about those two.
Flynn with an L. Yeah, he's a new driver, of course, to ALR, so looking forward to seeing how he performs there in the new F2 division. And of course, we know Troy's pedigree, of course, from Gold last season and, of course, in 100%. So, yeah, good stuff indeed for those two.
High Tech is the final team off the board, and of course, High Tech. There are rumours about High Tech joining the Formula One grid potentially for 2026. We all know that. We all know that I want the grid to expand in Formula One now. But anyway, that's enough about my personal preference about the real world of Formula One. High Tech, the last team off the board, and it is going to be Gamer. We know a lot about Gamer as well, don't we? He'll be in gold as well for the upcoming season. A multiple Grand Prix winner in the silver category, and a podium sitter in gold as well. Fantastic stuff. And last but no means least is Vessier, who I think, did he win the final race of bronze last season, if I'm not very much mistaken there. But Vessier also the final driver off the board then. I must say there are some big hitters come off the board in the final stages there, Alex.
Yeah, two good drivers there. And Vessier did win the final race of the season in bronze. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how he fares there in both divisions, of course, this season as well. But Gamer there, of course, a good top talent there in gold, and of course in 100% last season. But there we go.
Yeah, and looking down the grid there for Formula 2, then goodness gracious me, I'll put my teeth back into a minute. There's some pretty mega teams in there. I think that when we were showing the admins, when we was talking about who can go where in Formula 2, I remember Farf saying that there's going to be some devilish teams going in Formula 2. I don't think he said devilicious, but of course we've got to censor Farf, haven't we, as he does come from Ipswich. Now on to bronze then. And as you can see that we have really spiced up our wheel this year, because we have got the car images, and fantastic, isn't it? And first off the board is the Constructors Champions for bronze, the only team which is not called AlphaTauri that won a Constructors last season. So we start off with the Constructors Champions, and I'm getting a bit too loud already, Alex. Gosh, we ain't even talking about we haven't even gone racing yet, have we? But I do love it. First off the board is going to be a driver who was not full-time last season, but Dr. Troop is the first driver off the board then for bronze, and I got to say that's a very, very difficult stance to be in, isn't it? Having the race with the Constructors Champions right off the bat there. Goodness gracious me. And Alpine were very good last season, weren't they? And who's next off the board? It is going to be Scooby Stew, who had a bit of a torrid time last season in bronze, didn't he, with the McLaren team, but he is going to the Constructors now. Alex, two drivers then who was either a reserve or had a troublesome season last season, going to the Constructors Champions there. I think they're going to be a bit concerned, aren't they?
Yeah, a bit of pressure on their shoulders, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Scooby Stew can do, because I think he's going to be much better there on this new game. And of course, Dr. Troop there, of course, did reserve in a few races, as the Alfa Romeo is the next driver or next team off the wheel. But Dr. Troop there did reserve in a few races last season, and looking forward to seeing how he fares as well.
Alfa Romeo is the next team off the board. I almost said AlphaTauri then. Luckily, Alfa Romeo would not be called Alfa Romeo when we do this driver draw in season 11, Alex. But goodness gracious me, I'm way ahead of myself. Brooksy, first driver off the board then, a Grand Prix winner in Cobalt way back in yesteryear. Ups and downs last season for Brooks. I'm sure he did get a podium towards the end there in his Red Bull, but now he's going to be driving for the Alfa Romeo team. Remember that the joint constructors for this season is still up and raring to go as well. Oh, Cirrus Mushroom is not part of the Haas team this season, which is such a shame, because I was really looking forward to saying that Cirrus Mushroom was a part of the Haas team, but he's a part of the Alfa Romeo setup there. I think that there is some. I reckon that they could be early contenders for Constructors Champions there, Alex.
Yeah, looking good, that team. I think Brooksy there, if he can get himself a bit more consistency, then he can get himself some wins even in bronze. I'm sure this season's looking forward to seeing how he can do that. And Mushroom, of course, we've seen the consistency from Mushroom well, not just last season, in all the seasons he's taken part in. So a fantastic lineup there for Alfa Romeo, and Mercedes there going to be the next one off the wheel.
I'm so glad you were paying attention there, because I was looking down for some reason. I wasn't looking at the screen. Shocking. Off the board then is Jake the Slayer returning back to ALR. He was I think he only raced in 1 or 2 races last season, but Jake the Slayer going to the Mercedes team as well. So that's a very good draw for the Mercedes team, isn't it? Who is going to be Slayer's teammate then, as we still got quite a number of names on the board then, and it is going to be Winnie, another driver who was a reserve for most of the last season, and he did become a part of the Ferrari setup towards the end of the season. But Winnie hoping to be a midfield to point scorer this season now. What do you make of the Mercedes team there, Alex? And I'd say that there's a lot of potential in that team.
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential. I think there's potential for a few podiums, some wins even in that setup. So looking forward to seeing what they can do. And I think, to be fair, going back on your point, I think there's a lot of I think there's point scorers in every seat there in bronze this season. To be fair, so looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
Yeah, shocking behaviour, really, isn't it? I should have. There are points. There's point scorers in every division, in every championship there. But it does depend on how you hit the ground running with these new cars there. Cryptic Alibi, a driver who did. I don't think he participated in any race at all back in season 8. I think so. He's going to be one to very much a fresh pair of heels. Alibi is that. I'm sure that he is a multiple podium sinner. He may be, but a sitter in bronze as well. And he was going to be off the board then. Oh, is it Vintage or Vessier? It's Vessier. He won the last race in bronze. And yes, I'm going to say, Alex, I reckon that he is going to be a man pushing for promotion.
I think Vessier there can really kick on after that win. He looked in great form there at the end of the season for bronze last season. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. And Cryptic there getting back in the car there for season 8 or season 6, of bronze, isn't it? So we'll see what he can do as well in the Red Bull.
Indeed, season 6 of Bronze there. We should have mentioned that in part of the bronze intro, shouldn't we, really, Alex? Shocking. You would think that we're all professionals here. We're certainly not. Gosh, far from it. Right, it was at AlphaTauri. Yes, that was AlphaTauri. Kiki is first off the board, I think. He is first off the board then for the AlphaTauri. As I mentioned, AlphaTauri in the joint constructors last season were absolutely dominating, weren't they? Hopefully, it's a bit more closer this season, then, but you have to take your hat off. I literally have taken my hat off. Because that was absolutely fantastic there for the AlphaTauri team. Who is going to be Kiki's teammate? And it's Vintage. And I have massive respect for Vintage. I just love how he goes racing. He's a points collector. He is. Then Kiki is fast. He's very much like TK in a way, Alex, isn't he? He got 2 podiums last season, but he does seem to struggle to get it home.
Yeah, I think, like I said, consistency in one part of the team there from Vintage's side, but I think the pace is definitely on Kiki's side from that one. So if they can combine the two, I think they're going to be formidable.
Goodness gracious me. That is absolutely incredible combination, isn't it? Goodness me. Right, up next is the Haas team now with a lot of these liveries do look very similar, don't they, to last season now, and there's also a lot of black liveries on the cars as well then. Haas is the first team after that. Then Marsky, who I was very rude to, wasn't I, in the season review there. Shocking behaviour indeed then. But I think that I do have, I predicted that Marsky would be a driver that would be contending for the championship. I still have that belief right here, right now, then. But he's probably shaking his fist at me right now because I've said that. And Dynamo Dan, who finished runner-up last season in bronze there. I must say that I'm changing my pick. I did mention earlier on that I may have an early constructor contender, but I think I'm going for the AlphaTauri team, Alex.
No, I think a good setup there for sure. I think Marsky there can kick on from a difficult season. I think he himself had a difficult season. He admitted it, but he's still got a good performance and put some good results in there. But looking forward to seeing how they both kick on. And of course, how can Dynamo Dan win his championship, his maiden championship as well?
He was so unlucky. My heart went out to Dynamo Dan there. As we're going on to Ferrari, goodness me, who's spinning these wheels there? I can't keep up. My heart does go out to Dynamo Dan because I was watching the Chinese Grand Prix when I was celebrating my birthday, I think, there, and I just remember watching it and feeling absolutely sorry for him because that was one race where it just didn't go right for him. In the Ferrari team, Itemizar, while he made his debut and he won his race, well, been there, done that completely there. I reckon Itemizar, a full season now under his belt then for the Ferrari team, he is going to be very formidable, and almost as formidable as this man here. No introduction needed then. The first ever bronze champion there. So we got multiple winners in the Scarlet Ferrari, Alex. Ferrari were very close to win the constructors last season in bronze there, but they may go all the way this season.
Yeah, looking good indeed. Itemizer there looking to have a good season. His first full season, of course, and New Potato there. We know the pedigree of the New Potato, so we'll see how the fare in season 6.
And of course, said, or is it serious potato? As I keep used to call him as well. I do like the livery of the Williams. I don't know. I really like the air intake with the Duracell battery. I don't know why, simple things and all that, but it really makes me happy every time I see that car. Duncan, Dave, or Takanko, depended on if you could actually read, which I certainly can't. Duncan Dave has certainly come off the board there. I think that Duncan Dave, am I being harsher, Alex? I think that, do you think he underperformed last season? I do feel that he was involved in a lot of scrapes throughout the season last season.
I don't think he had the best season. I agree, but I don't think it was down to his lack of performance. I think it was just a bit of misfortune there for himself in the Aston Martin outfit. But hopefully he can kick on from that and then have a good season this one.
And TK, I think he had the most pole positions last season, and I'm sure he's got the most pole positions in bronze as well, TK. He only won one Grand Prix, though, from 9 pole positions, I think it was there. So, which I gotta say, Charles Leclerc is kind of similar to Charles Leclerc's record, unfortunately for TK. But he does have the pace, but his strategy calls was sometimes a bit iffy. I remember Japan, he came in the pit lane far too early, I think, on those medium tyres. McLaren is next off the board. I'm going to ask the Mr. Spinner to slow it down a bit there because I'm struggling to keep up. And it's Smithy Almighty, who was a part of the Silver setup, and now he's the Silver admin there. And Alex, this is going to be your league. We'll talk more about that in just a jiffy. But Smithy Almighty has gone from Williams to McLaren, and so he certainly loves his British constructors, doesn't he? And Hungry Styles, who was also part of the Williams setup last season, has also gone to the McLaren team as well. I must say, Hungry Stars in the second half of last season was driver of the season for me. He was superb. Smithy Almighty did struggle, but hats off to him for sticking with it throughout the season. Fair play to him. And last but no means least off the board is British Racing Green. Now it is the Aston Martin, which is a splendid car, isn't it? I absolutely love the Aston Martin, and looking very radiant there indeed. Then in those beautiful green colours, then for Aston Martin, I think they did struggle last season as well. Aston Martin, so they're hoping for a stronger season this season, and they got 2 drivers then who we got Swanshanks, who he did struggle towards last season. Swanshanks did, and Sick as Muck, who was very much there. I remember the British Grand Prix, he could have and should have won that race. Sick as Muck did, but Alex, I think that the 2 drivers there with 2 very distinctive seasons last season.
Yeah, I think 2 that can also kick on and have a good season this one. They might have had some. I think they both had difficulties on the last game, just dealing with the way that it handled that sort of thing. So hopefully this season will be their season and they can kick on.
Indeed, then, and of course, Sick as Muck was the last driver of the draw then. And Alex, you are now the new admin of Bronze then. So there is your motley crew then. I'm sure you're going to be definitely looking out for Serious Mushroom because he's certainly a troublemaker. But what are you feeling then? That is a fantastic group of drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being the Bronze admin, to be fair. It's a very good division. It's really improved from last season as well. They've really just kicked on. The racing has been actually great to watch. So looking forward to being the Bronze admin and having a great season.
One thing I did like about Bronze, as we've gone on to Silver, one thing I did like about Bronze last season is we had different qualifiers to different races. That it was brilliant. As I mentioned, TK had a lot of pole positions, but not many wins then. And then we had Dynamo Dan, who was very much fighting his way up through the field. And then we had Gino really launched off towards the end of the last season, didn't he? And he is the defending champion for Bronze. Well, he isn't defending champion because he's in this group of drivers now, which is Silver. And it was Red Bull off the wheel first, wasn't it, Alex? Goodness me, I'm off on a monologue. I wish the Mr. Spinner slow it down a bit there, or maybe I should stop talking. First driver off the board is Gordo. Gordo drove majority of the races last season there for Alpine, I believe it was there. Fair play to Gordo, because Gordo is a driver who's had a lot of success in ALR, but last season the car just didn't suit him at all, but he carried on with it. And Mr. Elite, another driver, I think he's got 96 starts in ALR Gold then. I think he's got 97 or 98 in total in ALR, if I'm not very much mistaken, which I may maybe. But Alex, two very loyal ALR drivers driving the Red Bull.
Yeah, great to have them both on the grid, of course, for Silver. And of Mr. Elite there is, of course, a veteran from Season 1 back in the day. So, yeah, he's great to have him back on the grid. And, of course, Gordo there, he had a bit of difficulties. He didn't admit himself. He took a bit of time out as well last season, but he came back into the Alpine outfit. So, yeah, he did a good job since he rejoined the division as well. So, yeah, good to see both of them in the Red Bull for Season 6.
And then we got the second Red Bull. Oh, we should say that. I mean, the AlphaTauri. But they're both powered by Honda. And then the first driver off the board is Craigar. Craigar, I think of the McLaren. He showed flashes of brilliance, Craigar did. Really stood up in the seat of that car. But I do feel that sometimes, maybe not the strategy calls as such, but the race did seem to get away from Craigar a bit there. Alex, you are an expert on Silver. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. But the next man off the board is you mad bro? I'll just take a breath there. Is you mad bro? You mad bro, a multiple winner in bronze and in cobalt as well. Now making a step up to silver then. AlphaTauri then, Alex. Two drivers then with, again, two differing career paths in ALR.
Well, just like Red Bull, I think that's another good team there, even the sister team of AlphaTauri. So looking good there for both Umabro and Craigar, so they can have a good season as well.
And hopefully Dieter and Mattership then won't threaten to kick anyone out then, unlike poor Nick de Vries then. Goodness me. Next off the board is the Williams team now. Williams, unfortunately, was languishing near the bottom of the constructors for most of last season. They did pick themselves up towards the end of the season. Sweet, who drove for the Mercedes for gold last season, is making a step to silver. And he would, Sweet then joining the Williams team as well. I've forgotten what team it was there, Alex. I was really fishing in my brain there for that team. Goodness me. That's off the board, and coming off the board is a former world champion, if only. Ewok Jr. then, a former Grand Prix winner in gold then, and one half of the Constructors champions from the Super Renault back in Season 2, Alex.
Yeah, a really good team, of course. Sweet MJP didn't have much luck in gold. Was in the relegation zone at the end there, so he put himself down into silver there. But a great lineup indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing how they both fare in silver Season 6.
Ferrari are next off the board. Then, of course, Ferrari, the most recognised team, I think, in Formula 1, isn't it? And, of course, one of the most successful teams as well. But I think in ALR trims, they don't really get much luck in ALR, do they? I think that there is an amazing stat, which I can't remember which league it was now, where they haven't even won a race, I don't think. Ultimate Beast, then. Well, if it's silver, I think that's going to be turned around quite quickly. Ultimate Beast, a winner for the McLaren team last season. This is his first full season with ALR, but Beast was a beast last season, I feel, and if he had a full season, I think he would have been very much troubling the top three. And Echo, who did also win his first ever race in bronze last season, making a step up to silver as well. Two race winners then, of course, Echo, who has had success in all three leagues then, but he had, I think his best success was last season with the in bronze, Alex.
Yeah, great team indeed, and I think Beast can really kick on from last season, and of course he did join a bit later on in the season as well, but had a great season indeed in silver, and like I said, Echo there was a top performer in bronze last season, so a good pairing indeed.
A very good pairing it is indeed then. Mercedes then, who are coming off the board as well with the new black livery. I wonder where they've gone with that. I think it's something to do weight saving, isn't it? So we kick on then, and Reflections, is it? It is indeed then. I've got to get my eyes tested. Yeah, Reflections there. The first driver off the board then drove really well for the Red Bull team. He did wonders in the 100%. Now I think he finished 4th or 5th in the 100% in the end, and did a great job. Reflections did, of course, also was one of the members of the 100% attendance as well. So really good stuff there for Reflections. And also off the board is Brabbit. I'm going to say it, Alex. You're going to hate me. Brabbit, I reckon he's going to go for promotion. Surely that has to be a minimum, doesn't it?
Well, you might have jinxed him now, but there you go. But no, I think a great team indeed. Brabbit there has done a great job last season for sure in the Mercedes, and he's back in his the same car, of course, this season. And Reflection, I think, will add to that team there to put in some consistency and put in some good results as well. So good stuff indeed for both.
Alpine next off the wheel. Then, of course, Alpine with the blue and pink livery. I really wish that they went with the all pink livery, Alex, but there you go. Less blue. I do like blue, but, well, I shouldn't say that, should I, being a Liverpoolian? But there's a lot of blue cars on the grid, isn't it? V-Top then, V-Top was thinking about retiring at the end of last season because he had a pretty nightmare season, but he is back, and he is back with the Alpine outfit. And I'm glad to see V-Todd back there, because V-Todd has been one of the drivers that has always been almost ever present in ALR Silver since the get-go. So it's great to have V-Todd with us. Not so great, unfortunately, as Farf, but he would look very dashing in that pink car. I'm sure of it. Well, I wish it was pink, but I'm sure Farf would look great in pink. Seriously, Farf did a very good job last season. Was one of the drivers that was very much nominated for having a great season as well. For the Alpine team now. Next off the wheel is the Haas team now. Haas had a very I think a mixed season last season. He had so many pole positions with Fangio. I think he had 14 poles in the end, didn't he? If I'm not very much mistaken there. But he did finish second in the championship at the end there. Did Fangio? Again, it was very similar to TK, who was also driving for the Haas team. Just very much up and down, really, wasn't it, in terms of the race itself? Pot Stuff is the first driver off the board for the Haas team now. So Pot Stuff, he did miss a couple of races, didn't he? Pot Stuff did, but when he was here, he did get a podium or two, and was very much a high runner when he was driving for that Red Bull team. And it is the bronze world champion then, and I feel that this is going to be a positive step up for Gino this year, Alex, and he was incredible towards the end of bronze last season. He absolutely was. He was phenomenal, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gunter's going to be very happy about that. There with Pot Stuff and Gino in his team, so they're going to be, I think, another contender. Going to be flying up there for the points for sure.
Next off the board is the Alfa Romeo. Then I do prefer the Alfa Romeo when they had the white rather than the black. But as we all know, these cars are quite heavy these days, and it's all about weight saving. I certainly know a thing or two about that. I do wear black, but it doesn't save me weight at all. Right, enough about my waistline. Dylan. Dylan now, of course, came in and really helped the Williams team towards the end of last season. I'm sure he won a Grand Prix, if I'm not very much mistaken. What I do remember from Dylan, though, is he had a problem with his reverse gear in Portugal, which was probably one of my highlights for some. I do love when a glitch happens, Alex, but the admins always shake their head at me. Next off the board is Dopey Lemons, who drove for the Alpine at last season. There, what do you make of that lineup, Alex? I must admit, I'm a bit excited by those two drivers there.
Yeah, both of them had, of course, joined the division a bit later on in the season, or only a few races in to the season, that is last season. So looking forward to them both having 2 full seasons under their belt, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to see how they fare.
Dylan, a former bronze champion as well. I keep forgetting. We should say that a lot more about Dylan, because he did win the bronze championship back in season 3. And of course, his teammate wasn't too bad either. Well, actually, his teammate was appalling, but the less said about that ginger guy, the better. McLaren off the board. Cassau really turned a corner for me, I feel. Just over the second third of the season for me, Alex. He started to really get some points on the board for the Alfa Romeo team, but I do think that this season, if he keeps up his momentum there, he is going to be very much a midfield runner. And who is going to be the other driver that will be partnering Cassau? It is going to be Irvine there. So that McLaren team, I do feel on their day, that McLaren team is going to be a formidable constructor.
Yeah, looking good indeed there for both drivers. I think Cassel, like you said, did start to improve throughout the season as it sort of wore on. So hopefully he can adapt to the new game a bit better, and it will be a bit more fruitful for him. And Irvine, of course, won the last race of the season in silver with a fantastic performance in Abu Dhabi. Hopefully he can take that momentum into season 6.
My right ear is burning, Alex. That means that I think the Brabant's probably giving me all kinds of is probably cursing me about making it one of the favourites. Shocking. It is indeed, isn't it? There, because I think it's right for spite, isn't it? Last but not least is the Aston Martin team. Camera Racer drove for Ferrari last season. Another good qualifier, but unfortunately, race trim, he just didn't get the most out of the package. And last but not least is Dan Murphy. There, goodness me, he's been around all almost as long as ALR has, hasn't he? Fantastic stuff indeed, Dan Murphy. And also staying with the British Racing Green outfit, Alex.
Yeah, so of course, one of the most consistent teams last season with Equaz and Dan Murphy, but of course, Kamara Racer there hopefully convert his pace into some good points as well for the other Aston Martin seat. And Dan Murphy, we know the consistency that he's got. He will be getting some good points for his team once again in season 6.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. Looking at those drivers there, who do you think is going to do well, and who do you think may struggle?
I was prepared for this, so I'm going to say simply, I don't have an answer yet. I'm looking forward to season Silver once again put on a show. It was an absolutely fantastic season last season in season 5. So yeah, hopefully they can replicate that and go even further and even better for season 6.
It's a fool's game, isn't it, to to certainly predict? But I'm one of those fools that also predicts what happens in the real world of Formula 1 after testing as well. And now it is gold. Then it is season 9 for gold there, and of course we got defending champion Troy. We have got 7 champions that has won the ALR Championship. We have only had 2 double world champions there, and we've never had a champion that is retained his championship on a different game. Then, so that is just a couple of stats for you going into this one now. Haas is the first team off the board, and it is Liam who did drive for the majority of the season last season with the Haas team, and I think that him and Mr. Rage had a really good season for the Haas team. They were my team of the season. They were just so good. And we're talking of good then, Sam Green now. The turn of 2023, he was a different beast there. He was magnificent there in the new year. From Azerbaijan onwards, Sam Green got second, and since then, he really turned his season around then. I was a part of that magnificent midfield battle. 2 drivers, Alex, with, I'd say that the sky's the limit.
Yeah, Liam there sort of doing a Magnussen, isn't he? And returning back to the Haas team once again. And Sam Green, the formidable force there from last season, was absolutely a pleasure to have him on the grid for gold. So looking forward to seeing what he can do paired with Liam, I should say, in the Haas.
Indeed, then, and coming up next off the board is the Mercedes team. I almost missed that then, because I think I interviewed Sam once in Baku, and he said some very nice things about me. So I am that shallow, right? Always got a real bad judge of character, which I'm sure he hasn't. Mercedes off the board, and Fangio, who was the runner-up in season silver last season, silver season last season. He'll be joining the Mercedes team this time around. Then, as we mentioned, he was so good in qualifying. And oh gosh, sir, that's our world champion off the board, Alex. Wow, we've got a great qualifier and a man who wins a lot of races then.
Talk
it's about
full
that.
Of pace, isn't it, that one? Pace. But no, Troy, of course, the champion there for gold, looking to retain his title, of course, in switching into the Mercedes. And Fangio, he's got the pace indeed, and I think he's going to be great in gold. Hopefully he can get some good results and good points as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that then. As we mentioned, we know about Troy's mission, and can he be the first driver in history of ALR to retain the championship on 2 different games there? Farfus just fallen off his chair, I think, with that incredible team. Magnificent 17. Alfa Romeo is next off the board, and Chaza, I say that Chaz, I think that was Chaz's most strongest season last season in the gold then. Not in terms of championship position, because I think he finished 5th in season 5, but I think in terms of just his performance and really dragging that Mercedes around, he was really good last season. And off the board is our season 6 world champion, which is German. And wow, I am expecting big things from German, Alex, because he did struggle last season, but yet he's still got a win. So I am feeling a sense that German could be a major factor this season.
I might have to pick out a team, pick out a favourite already. I think those 2. I don't want to say it. Those 2 are going to be very good indeed. I'm predicting, but that's as far as I'm going to take it. But a great team lineup indeed for sure.
Up next is the McLaren team, who was going for 3 Constructors' Championships in a row, but unfortunately that got derailed by the formidable AlphaTauri team, and it was going to be first off the board then for the McLaren team. Then, of course, they were trying to equal the most Constructors' Championships in history of ALR Gold by winning this season, which means they'll equal Renault. Renault, yeah, goodness me. I came all European there. Sloth off the board then. I think Sloth is making a return then, because I don't think he raced much last season, so it's great to see Sloth back on the field. And, well, Boxtel is going to be leading the McLaren charge once again, Alex. Boxtel, of course, was Troy's closest challenger for most of last season, but he did have some flash points, didn't he, last season, Boxtel?
Yeah, unfortunately, a few tangles that we'll say. We'll come to that. But yeah, it was a good season nonetheless for Boxtel. He's got the pace indeed. He's just absolutely rapid. So yeah, we'll hopefully see him get some wins once again in the McLaren. And Sloth there, like I said, returning back to the grid. So we'll have to see how he's going to fare. But looking good indeed there for McLaren.
What's not looking good is me. I got this sweatshirt on and I'm definitely sweating at the moment. Now, this is only the driver draw, Sean, calm down. Williams had a pretty appalling season last season. They had a rotating, revolving door of drivers. And Williams were second in constructors last season, not last season, the season before. And Percy is going to be the man that leads the line now for the Williams team. Can he get them back to where they were before? Well, maybe even higher and get in the Constructors' Championship. But he was the Williams driver back in season 7. I think it was, of ALR, but him and Animal came to blows, didn't they, in Jeddah, which was interesting. Immortal, the 100% champion, who was absolutely 100% on form last season. There, Immortal's never won a race in gold, then, but I think he's going to break that duck this season, Alex.
Yeah, both absolutely rapid drivers. Like I said, Lucas Percy there had his difficulties, I think, last season with Geordie, didn't he? But yeah. Two epic drivers, two very fast drivers, and very consistent as well in terms of getting some big points for the team. So good stuff indeed.
Aston Martin are next off the board. Of course, Aston Martin was Percy's old team. Now he's moved on to Pastors New with the Williams team. Now I almost forgot who he was driving for then. Equals is returned to Aston Martin. So goodness me, Aston Martin seems to like to keep hold of their drivers. Then Equals was driving for the green mean fighting machine in silver, and now he's doing the same in bronze as well. Bronze in gold as well. So Equals in gold then and driving with the Aston Martin team. Fantastic stuff indeed. Then so very familiar surrounded, and the silver champion, the man who won the first ever ALR championship in history, it is Nigel returning full-time back to gold. Alex, what about that?
Well, what a formidable lineup that is. That is two silver goats there getting into the same team there, and the Aston Martin there for gold. So hopefully they can carry on their form from last season and get some good points indeed.
4 teams left. Then Williams had a pretty difficult season, but then Alpine also had a difficult season as well. Really, those two teams were both in blue, were having an absolutely appalling seasons last season. Alpine did win a race though, didn't they? But unfortunately, they just was having an issue with drivers there, and there was a bit of a move there. And hopefully they'll have an issue with this man. It's Knowlesy, the 3-time Grand Prix winner, of course, back in season 6 as well. Of course, he was a challenger to Emerson for one period or another. Then, of course, who's going to be Knowlesy's teammate? Then, hopefully, he gets someone who he's on speaking terms with. He's on speaking terms with everyone, isn't he? And it is Markey. Alex.
Hopefully, I'm on speaking terms with Markey, and hopefully he can carry me to some victories there. Carry himself to victories, but I'll be there supporting Markey, I think, as the second driver for sure there to him. So yeah, I'm very sorry to Markey in the first place for being his teammate. So sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry, Marky. I'm sure it will be fine. Alpha Tara next on the board. Of course, I joke then. Alex, a 3-time Grand Prix winner in gold then. So he definitely has the pedigree. Alpha Tara next off the board then. Of course, the Constructors' Champions and Alpha Tara is. And let's see who Alpha Tara are going to get. It is Gamer. Gamer, of course, driving for the Aston Martin last season. And Gamer, of course, a multiple Grand Prix winner in silver. Got a podium or 2 last season. Gamer did. I don't think we've seen the best for Gamer last season. We did see flashes of brilliance, but we didn't see him at his peak performance, I would hazard a guess then. And also, it is going to be Siege then, who joined halfway through gold last season, I believe. And well, I say halfway. I think it was only a couple of races into it for the Alfa Romeo team then. But Siege, who was going to be a formidable driver in Formula 2. What do you reckon he's going to be like in gold, Alex?
I think that's a great lineup because I think Siege is going to be, going to carry on even better than what he was doing last season in gold. And Gamer, he did get a couple of podiums. I think Japan was one of the highlights of his season there, P2, I think it was in Japan. But yeah, nonetheless, I think Gamer there can kick on and have a good season as well. So hopefully both of them will be even further up the order than they were last season.
Good memory, Alex. Because I don't have my spreadsheet in front of me, so I was really struggling then. Red Bull next off the wheel, and well, that's fitting, isn't it? Red Bull, and we got a Raging Bull in the Red Bull. That's going to wear thin very quickly, isn't it? I reckon. But you know how much I love a bit of yeah. Anyway, Mr. Rage, my driver of the season last season, he was brilliant. That pole position in Monza was going to live with me forever because that lap was fantastic. We only got to see the end of it on the stream then, but it was magnificent then. So also in the Red Bull is Indigo as well. Then Indigo joined out towards the end of last season there. I think that is a very interesting dynamic in that Red Bull team.
Yeah, Mr. Rage, great to have him with us, of course, because he did a great job last season, and I think, like you said, was one of the most consistent drivers in gold last season overall, and really did well that season. And Indigo, of course, joined very late into the Alpine outfit, but hopefully he can kick on and have a full season under his belt and see what he can do.
And last but no means least, it is the Ferrari team. And this is the last two that is going to be off the board then for this season's driver draw. It is going to be Vesely making his debut back in the first ever race of ALR. Vesely is there drove for the Constructors Champions last season there. So hopefully Ferrari will have, be able to step up, get some good results this season. And Coop, as in Soup, also the final driver off the board as well, drove a very good, a decent second half of the season for the Haas team as well there. So that is the Ferrari team. Alex, final words on this driver draw. I'm loving it.
Absolutely epic. I think it's going to be an exciting season for all of ALR, every division this season. Can't wait for it to get started, of course. And looking forward to seeing everybody on track as soon as we can get going.
Thank you very much then, Alex, and it's been a pleasure to have you with me then for this one. And that is the driver draw then, everyone there. And of course, the season is officially underway then. We are going to be lights out in Bahrain in just under a week's time now then. That is the driver lineup for gold there. And all of those drivers has the potential to win the World Championship, but only one can there. It is going to be action, drama, and tears and sweat and everything else. See you in Bahrain.